200 push-ups a day should destroy your muscles. At least that's what most people believe. By that logic, Navy SEAL candidates should be waking up every morning barely able to move. Their chest should be wrecked. Their shoulders should be screaming. Their bodies should be begging for recovery. But that's not what happened. Somehow, men push through hundreds of push-ups day after day, week after week, without the kind of muscle damage most gym-goers expect. And that's where the story gets strange. Because somewhere along the way, we started believing that soreness equals progress. That if a workout doesn't leave you exhausted, it wasn't effective. That pain is proof you're getting stronger. But what if that idea is completely backwards? What if the reason Navy SEALs could handle massive amounts of push-ups wasn't because they were tougher than everyone else? What if they understood something about the human body that most people still don't? A principle so simple, so effective, that once you see it, you'll never look at training, recovery, or muscle growth the same way again. To understand why, imagine a Navy SEAL candidate before sunrise. The air is cold, his body is exhausted. Yesterday's training is still taking a toll. Then comes another round of push-ups, and another, and another. Most people would assume he's destroying his muscles and somehow recovering overnight. But that's not what was happening. The candidates who survived weren't necessarily the strongest. They simply understood something about the human body that most people never learn. And it starts with a simple question. When you do a push-up, what are you really training? Your muscles or something else entirely? Most people think push-ups are all about muscle. They're not. Before your chest, shoulders, or triceps do anything, your nervous system is already at work. It controls how efficiently your muscles move and how much energy they use. That's why one person struggles to do 20 push-ups while another can do 50 with ease. The difference isn't always strength, it's efficient. Navy SEAL instructors understood this. They knew that constantly training to failure creates fatigue faster than progress. So instead of destroying the body, they trained it to work more efficiently. And that's one reason some people get sore after a single workout, while others can do hundreds of push-ups and still be ready to train again the next day. Here's where most people get it wrong. They do push-ups until they can't do another rep, then spend days recovering. It feels effective because it hurts. But Navy SEALs understood something different. The goal isn't exhaustion, it's an adaptation. Instead of pushing until form breaks down, they stop before it does. That's why they can train again the next day instead of spending days recovering. But there's another reason they recover so well, and it has nothing to do with supplements or recovery gadgets. It's something you're doing right now without even thinking about it. You're breathing. When most people get tired during push-ups, their breathing falls apart. They hold their breath, waste energy, and fatigue faster. Navy SEALs are trained differently. They stay calm under pressure because panic burns energy. A controlled inhale and exhale helps keep the body efficient, reduces unnecessary stress, and improves recovery. But breathing wasn't the biggest secret. The real breakthrough was much simpler. Instead of trying to do more in one workout, they focused on doing less more often. And that's what allowed them to handle hundreds of push-ups without breaking down. Think about it this way. If your goal is to learn a language, you wouldn't study for 12 straight hours once a week and expect amazing results. You'd practice a little every day. The body works in a surprisingly similar way. The candidates who survived the toughest military training programs weren't always the ones who could push the hardest. Often, they were the ones who could show up consistently, day after day, week after week. That's why many high-level performers focus on frequent practice rather than constant exhaustion. Instead of doing one massive set that leaves them destroyed, they spread the work out. A few quality reps here, a few more later. Always staying sharp, always staying efficient. Over time, something remarkable happens. The movement starts feeling easier, the body wastes less energy, strength increases without the constant soreness. And this brings us to one of the most powerful concepts behind why Navy SEALs could handle so many push-ups. They rarely train to impress themselves. They train to be ready for the next mission. That's a completely different mindset. And once you understand how that mindset changes the way you approach every workout, you'll see why most people unknowingly make the same mistake over and over again. Here's the strange part. The men who succeeded in Navy SEAL training weren't always the biggest, the fastest, or even the strongest. In fact, instructors have seen incredibly fit candidates quit, while smaller, less impressive candidates kept going. Why? Because at a certain point, physical strength stops being the deciding factor. The real battle becomes recovery, consistency, and discipline. Can you perform when you're not feeling your best? Can you stay patient when progress seems slow? Can you stop chasing exhaustion and start chasing improvement? That's exactly where most people fail. They confuse feeling tired with getting better. They think every workout has to be a war, but the body doesn't reward drama, it rewards consistency. And that's why some people spend years working harder and harder while seeing very little progress. The human body adapts to the demands placed on it. That's the key. If every workout sends a signal of panic, destruction, and exhaustion, the body spends most of its time trying to recover from damage. But if the signal is clear, controlled, and repeated consistently, something different happens. The body becomes more efficient, movements become smoother, energy systems improve, strength builds without unnecessary wear and tear. That's why Navy SEALs could perform enormous amounts of work without constantly breaking down. They weren't trying to see how much punishment they could survive in a single day. They were building a body that could perform again tomorrow and the day after that. That's a lesson most people never learn. The goal isn't to crush yourself. The goal is to become reliable. Because reliability beats intensity when measured over months and years. And if there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's this. Stop asking how hard you can train today. Start asking how consistently you can train for the next year. That simple shift in thinking can completely transform your results. So the next time you drop down for a set of push-ups, remember this. The strongest people aren't always the ones who push the hardest. They're often the ones who keep showing up long after everyone else has stopped. Before you leave, I want to challenge you to try something for the next 7 days. Not 200 push-ups. Not a workout that leaves you sore for days. Just consistency. Find your maximum number of push-ups. Then perform small sets throughout the day while staying well below your limit. Focus on quality, control, and good form. Then pay attention to what happens. Not just to your strength, but to your energy and recovery. You might discover that getting stronger isn't about pushing harder, it's about showing up more often. That's a lesson Navy SEALs learned long ago. Progress isn't built in one brutal workout. It's built through small efforts repeated consistently over time. Now let me know in the comments, how many perfect push-ups can you do right now? And do you think you could stay consistent for 7 straight days? If you enjoyed this video and want more fitness lessons inspired by Navy SEAL training principles, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.